Yeah, I think what's really exciting is what's next is going to be built in media. Media is where we love, laugh, cry. It's where we learn, watch, commiserate. Media is where it's at. And if you look at the drivers of growth that we're seeing really fueling what's next, it's three things. It's identity, it's context, and attention. And those three things are needed at every organization in every way to really drive a healthy media environment in today's marketplace.
You just spoke here at the IAB about attention. Why is that such an important topic to you in the industry right now?
Yeah, I think there's so much going on in this area. If you think about the last 5 years where dentsu has been doing a work around what we're calling the attention economy, go back 5 years ago, we were trying to get people to listen to us about the importance of attention. Now everyone's talking about it, and the challenge is there's not a unified definition. There's a lot of confusion around, is it a currency or not? Obviously there's a lot of questions around how are we evolving the currency side, but ultimately attention is the most critical way that we know advertisements are having values with the consumers. We don't know if the consumer is paying attention to an ad on screen or on a mobile device if they're co-viewing. We don't know the impact of an ad if it's just delivered. So how we drive that attention understanding and measurement and ultimately trading is really important.
You mentioned currency, and the TV industry is going through a big evolution there. Does attention have the potential to make that even more complicated or create confusion in that market?
I hope that attention ultimately settles the market down versus agitates it up. I think what needs to happen, and specifically on the buy side, is we all need to come together and there needs to be more unification, more collaboration, more consistency. I think there's a lot of individuality that is happening. Everyone's trying to define their own leadership position versus the industry coming together. And we're allowing the sell side to almost dictate some of the terms that we need to stand for and we need to support for our clients. Ultimately, I think there needs to be a common platform, a common understanding that drives to accountability. If you think about it, attention is a step to the end result, which is knowing that there was a business driving outcome from my media activity. And it certainly, attention is better than reach and frequency. It doesn't replace it, it adds to it as we're on this path towards ultimate outcome driven media activities.
Identity continues to be a huge topic, and on the open web, they're trying to figure out how to replace the cookie. TV seems to be wanting to have find a similar identifier. How do those two things play out over time?
Yeah, I think first of all, we need to think about the importance of identity not as a transactional element. We tend to think about identity as the data point, not identity as a human being, a person. And the goal of what we're trying to do is to know people better than anyone else. And that then allows our clients to have advantage in who they're targeting, why they're targeting, and really put meaning and understanding behind the identity versus just it being a data point. I think ultimately anything that has that ability to identify you as a person should be taken advantage of. And we're doing a lot of really innovative work with video partners to understand how to close loop and connect IDs to inventory and make sure that we're able to do it in a scaled environment on a repeatable basis.
Given the changes in identity, there's been a lot of excitement around contextual targeting, but it hasn't seemed to match up with spending. What do you think's going on with that sector?
Yeah, I think context is really key because at the end of the day, it comes down to the right ad at the right time to the right person with the right meaning, driving the right outcome. And what we haven't been doing is focusing on the context of the ad. We've been focused on the automation, the machine, the programmatic decisioning, and we have to recognize that context is as important. And so I do think that there's the pendulum shifting a little bit back now to contextual targeting and making sure we're not optimizing ourselves into a corner. How do we allow for context to have some involvement in the conversation versus just the algorithm deciding on our behalf?
What's the mood like among your clients, given the state of the just ongoing uncertainty in the economic picture?
Yeah, I think it's really important that we realize what we're going through right now is very situational on a category by category basis. We have some categories that are doing very strong, other categories that are looking at what they need to consider and being smart and using media in a more intelligent way. I think what makes this time different than times before is that there is this category by category perspective, whereas I think in 2008, 2009, it was much more universal with what's going on and how we're looking at media spend.
Lastly, Doug, what other big trends are you keeping an eye on for 2023, either on the buy or sell side?
Yeah, I think one of the big areas that obviously we're very committed to is economic empowerment, ensuring that we're continuing to diversify the spend, driving towards minority and diverse owned media outlets. That's a key element that we continue to see a lot of opportunity. Around attention, we're really excited to be celebrating our 5th year of the attention economy, and we're supporting that by providing the IAB, the VAB, and the new joint industry committee with a lot of our eye tracking data so that there's a jump start and there can be movement faster around attention. And then last is around brand assurance. We have to get beyond just viewability and deliverability as being good enough and get to a place where privacy and trust really take a supreme element to how we're making media decisions.